So why is it that people have a much easier time squatting when their toes are pointed outward as compared to forward? When the toes point outward, this usually implies a little bit of external rotation and abduction, meaning that the femur basically just comes away from the midline of the body. When the femur comes away from the midline of the body, it's able to actually clear this hip socket a little bit more easily and this hip bone as a whole. In addition, when we point our toes forward, our femurs are more inclined to move forward and backward, which basically makes it more difficult to sit directly downward. When we point the toes outward, our femurs not only move forward, but a little bit outward, so we can more easily create space to sit directly downward as opposed to having to sort of hinge like we do in a deadlift. In addition, if our femurs are more front to back or a little bit more side to side, the glute max will be heavily involved in both cases, but the more that we move our femur outwards, the more that the big adductor, the adductor magnus, will be involved as compared to the glute max. So you can think of this on a spectrum of the narrower the stance, the more front to back we move, the more glute max, and the more that we move outward, the more adductor magnus, and everything in between will just shift the bias in one direction.